it wasn't.
I think we need to make this screen smaller.
Yeah.
Do you want me to make this one smaller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that better? There we go. Okay. We need a bigger monitor. Sorry, Tim, to interrupt you. And Tim, thanks for making this possible. It's good that Tim.
So far.
Pretty awesome. There we go.
These are some of the clients, some of the partners we've worked with on this product, as well as through our life as a company at Site Minis. This was the problem that we initially built to solve, and then I was just coming to this. So we created CliqLaunch, which is just a tool that's specifically designed to help marketers, non-technical people, create and launch and deploy mobile websites simply and easily and quickly. So this way that they could start creating a mobile element that goes along with all of their campaigns, marketing campaigns that they may be running, whether it be, banner ads on their main site or email campaigns, what have you. This way they had a way to sort of slap together using the same marketing materials a mobile website that could go along with this to give that mobile optimized experience on everyone who's checking these emails on their phones or getting push notifications, what have you. Since so much is happening on mobile today, it's really, really important to make sure that there's some sort of a mobile environment going along with these marketing campaigns, or else you're going to get a high abandon rate. So we built this tool simply to remove that hassle and frustration that was there before creating these pages. And here you can see it. And I just wanted to give you a really brief introduction to sort of the background of the tool. But I'll show you this as we get into it. But it's all a very simple to use drag and drop system where you can pull in widgets. If you've ever used sites like Weebly or Wix, it works very similar to those, except specifically for mobile. So you can deploy mobile websites. They're going to work across 95% of all your mobile handsets, mobile phones that are out there in the market today. So iPhones, Androids, Windows phones, what have you. This is just sort of a big intro into the screens and what you'll see. This is the canvas. There's analytics involved. There's dashboards. There's a tablet site creation in the mix. We won't get to that today, but then there's also QR code generation and everything in here too. So you can create these landing pages and these sites pretty simply. And as Dr. Rosenkrantz said, we've had a pretty successful last session with this, in which we only went through a pretty quick demo like we'll do today. But the students were able to create some really, really great websites using the tool. So it's a testament to how simple it really is to use once you get into it and play around with it. So with that being said, I've got some, if you can see the browser here, I've got some examples of some of the sites that you can see that have been built by some of the larger brands that are using the tool. Here's one that's sort of applicable at college. Style Your Dorm. This by Kmart. One was recently done. You can see Dollar General does all of their mobile coupon pages through CliqLaunch. They also do some various Labor Day. They did a Labor Day promotion here. But I'm going to show you how to build one of these sites using the tool now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into my user account of CliqLaunch here. And I'll be sure to send a follow-up email with all the instructions necessary to signing up on the tool and making sure that you guys gain access and it's easy to get in and start playing with it. But I'm going to go ahead and log in to my user login here. And once I log in, this is the first screen that you see once you log into CliqLaunch. This is just your user dashboard screen. And it's sort of the portal to get to everything that CliqLaunch has to offer, whether it be managing the other sites that you've built, checking the analytics, the actual page views and everything of the sites and pages that you have live, creating a new site, generating QR codes or short URLs, managing your files, even to your account details. So everything can be accessed from this main dashboard screen. Now what we're going to do today, and I'm going to go through my standard demo site. I think Dr. Rosenkrantz has seen this before, so sorry if it's repetitive. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to build a one-page landing page mobile website centered around HBO's show Game of Thrones. The idea is just to demonstrate a marketing example or a landing page example of some site that's meant to give information about a product or a service. It'll direct people to multiple places online to sort of shorten that length of time it takes for people to figure out and find out the answers that they want to get to from the marketing promotion itself. And it'll include some video and some rich imagery and some functionality as well. So to get started, when you're creating any new website or mobile website using CliqLaunch, the first place to start is right here where I say create new site. So I'm just going to click this button. Now, when I'm creating a new site, I'm essentially creating a URL. So all of your websites are going to follow this URL sort of nomenclature where it's Pepperdine MSCO380.cliqlaunch.com/Pepperdine/ what your site name is. So in the site name, we have to make sure there's no spaces or special characters since it has to go along with the actual URL logic. So for this, I'm just going to go GOT demo. I'm going to make it really unique since I've done quite a few of these. Next, I'm going to put in a title. So the title, that's what appears at the top of your page here in your tab, but more importantly, it's what appears in that URL window on the top of your phone screen when you're actually looking at these pages. So for this, I'm just going to put in Game of Thrones. Now we have a couple of other options here. These aren't mandatory fields, but they're good to know about, one of which is a PC site URL. So this is a sort of what we call a reverse redirect. And basically what it means is that if you're creating a mobile version of a site that already exists on the PC somewhere else, and you're just sort of duplicating the content, and you're creating a mobile version of it, you can specify that PC site URL here. So that way, if somebody attempts to go and visit the mobile URL that you create here in CliqLaunch on a PC browser, on their computer, laptop, what have you, it'll redirect them to that PC site that you specify here. So you have that option to make sure that you're controlling the content that people are seeing based on the medium that they're accessing it via, whether that be a mobile phone or a PC computer. Secondly, we have keywords here that you can plug in. This is simply for adding in meta tags, which is a little maybe higher level, but it's more from the HTML perspective, and it helps with search engine optimization. So you can put in specific keywords here, just separate them by commas, and put them in quotation marks. And so if it was Game of Thrones, you could say, Game of Thrones as one, and then you can say, HBO as another. And so those are meta tags in the HTML that'll help, the Google bots pick up the topic that these sites are about and helps that SEO purposes. The third here is a description, which is purely for your own categorization. You can put in descriptions of your sites. A lot of the clients that we work with create hundreds of sites to go along with all of their different marketing campaigns. And so they'll want different sort of one-sentence descriptions of what each of these sites were at some point in time, in case next year for that Labor Day campaign, for example, they want to go back into that URL and update it. This way it makes it easier for them to find it. We're going to skip over the bookmark icon right this second, but basically what it is just this icon here, and you can plug in an image just to what becomes that app logo on your phone should you bookmark one of these sites to the home screen of your smartphone. And then the last thing here, there are ultimately two different types of sites that you can create using CliqLaunch. The first, which is what we'll create today, is a regular site, which is exactly how it sounds. It's a regular mobile website. It can stay up as long as you want to keep it up. It has many pages as you want to have, has much functionality as you want, and it's going to stay up as long as you keep it up until you manually delete the site and take it down. The second type of site is a campaign site. That's specifically, the only real difference is that it falls under a specific category or line of business. You can see sales, marketing. It's to help categorize the marketing departments, or help the marketing departments categorize the sites that they're building. But it also has a specific start date and an end date. So in a lot of these companies, they have their whole marketing calendar planned out 12 months in advance. And so they can create sites well in advance that'll go along with marketing campaigns that are set to go live at certain dates. And so they can pre-plan everything out well ahead of time. And that's really the benefit of these campaign sites. But what we're going to do here is I'm just going to click a regular site, and I'm going to click Create Site. And this is actually going to launch us right into our design canvas. So this is where we create our pages, where we upload our content, where we end up customizing and ultimately launching the mobile website. So I'll walk you guys through that process now. So the first step in creating any mobile website is we need to create the page that the content is going to reside on. So if you see here, all over here, you'll see to create a new page, click Create Page, all of these. Any of these options are good. So if you click any one of these, you're going to get a very similar pop-up window to that Create Site menu, except now we're talking at individual page levels. So we're going to name this just Home, since it'll be the home page, the first page of the site. Now, if you see here, the title Game of Thrones was pre-populated since I put that in the Create Site menu. So you can change that title based on the page. So if you have multiple pages in a site and you want different titles for each one, that'll appear at the top of your window. You can change those on a page-by-page basis, as well as all of these fields. So your keywords, your descriptions, your PC site URL, all of that. One thing we won't get into here, but what we do have is this capability of tracking these pages in external analytics providers as well. So if you have Google Analytics accounts, you can actually choose Google Analytics and plug in your Google UA number here, and you can start tracking the pages within a Google Analytics account, separate from the analytics environment that we have here in CliqLaunch. But we won't go through that process right this second. So once we put in our page name, I'm just going to say Create Page. And if you'll see here in our site menu, all the pages that we create show up here. So this is how you're going to navigate from page to page. So if we created a second page, say page 2, you'll see that a second page pops up here. And so now we can flip back and forth between them to customize each page as we see fit. So to start on the home page, the next step is we have some images, some imagery. We kind of have an idea of what we want our site to look like ahead of time, and that's a good practice. So we have some images that I want to use in my actual site build. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload those images into CliqLaunch so that I can use them in my site. So to do that, I'm going to access my file manager. So you can access the file manager here via this button right here on the wing of the canvas, or you can go up here to the Tools menu and select File Manager. This brings up our file manager, and you'll see here there's a big green upload button. So if we click that, it's going to open up our computer here into our computer so that we can look specifically as to what we want to upload the files. So if I go to my GOT demo here, I'm going to pick out these two images, and I'm just going to upload those right into the platform, and you'll see those come in one by one. Give it a second to upload. Here we go. And so now both of my images are here and they're ready to be used in my site. So I can X out of my file manager. So now we've created our site, we've created our first page, we've uploaded our images. The next step is to start building out the actual page. So the first thing we want to do, since this is going to be a darker theme, we're going to change the background color of the whole page to black. So if you notice here on the right of the canvas, there's a section here that's this tab is chosen called Page Properties. And in this Page Properties, there's some various customization elements that you can do, from adding background images. So if you upload some sort of an image that you want to have as a background texture, you can upload that. Or you can choose to upload or change your entire background color. So for this, I'm just going to choose the background color drop-down menu, and I'm going to select black. Now, just to show you guys, we also have the ability for you to put in your own custom color codes. So if you have specific, custom color codes that you want to plug in to make sure you're maintaining the correct branding color for whatever client that you may be working with, you have that ability as well. But we're going to go with standard black here, and I'm going to save the page. Now, the next thing I want to do is start actually building out the individual elements of the page. So I'm going to start with my header. This is just the first thing that's going to pop up on the screen, and it's going to be, stuck to the top. So to do that, I have an image already pre-prepared that I'm going to use as my header. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to my top bar. And if you'll notice here, there's several tabs of different elements and widgets and things like that that you can pull into your page. So we're going to start just by pulling in a picture. And this just brings in a default image, a placeholder image, that if you click that placeholder image, it brings up the element properties for that element here to the right. And so this is what we use to customize that element. So it's just dragging elements in, clicking to select them, and then customizing them using this toolbar here to the right. So first thing we want to do is we want to change out this image from that placeholder image to the image that we uploaded. So if we roll over this select an image part here, you'll see that my two images are here, and I can just click the one that I want, and that's going to replace that image. So with that, it's still stuck at that 200 by 200 pixel size. What I'm going to do is if I just clear those fields out, it's going to go back to the original size that it was at. And you can customize by putting in different pixel widths and heights here that you want. You can also put in percentages. So if I put in 100%, it'll just fit the full width of the screen right there. But just like that, we have this nice Game of Thrones header that flows really nicely into the page. The next thing I want to do is, since this is a landing page environment and it's meant to sort of show people more information about the show, people that are interested and want to learn about it, I want to give people an opportunity to watch the trailer right away. So to do that, we have a couple of different ways. One is similar to the way that we did images. You can upload video files and use our video element here, which if I drag this in, you'll see it's a placeholder video player that once you click, you can see a drop down here and you can apply that video file. If you don't want that element, you just roll over it and click X to delete it. The other way, which is what I'll do today, is I'm just going to embed a YouTube video directly into this page. So to do that, I'm going to navigate to my top bar here, and I'm going to scroll and hit the Widgets tab. And down here on the very end of the Widgets tab, you'll see a YouTube video element. So I'm just going to do the same thing that I did with my image, and I'm going to drag that right into the page. And so just like the image, it brings in a placeholder YouTube video. So if I click to select that YouTube video, you'll see that the element properties changed based on the type of element that we're using. So for the YouTube video, you'll see here there's a space for a YouTube URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over here to YouTube real quick. I've got my Game of Thrones trailer pulled up, and I'm just going to copy that URL, and I'm going to paste it right in here. Now, one important thing to remember is since this is an embedded video, we'll have to remove the S from the URL. Since it's a secure login URL, when you go into YouTube and you're logged in under an account, you just take that out and then click off of it, and that embeds that video right into the page. And so now we have a great video trailer embedded right into our site that people can watch right as they get to the page. So we'll save that. It's important to remember to save your page as often as you can. Since this is a cloud product, you never know what internet problems you may run into or what have you, so you don't want to lose your work. So I try and save as often as possible. So the next thing I want to do is, now I've got my header, I've got my video, I want to bring in some navigation. And what I want to do is I'm going to turn this into sort of a portal page that people can click various buttons and go to different sites, different existing websites to learn more about Game of Thrones. So things like learn about the cast, learn about various videos, learn about the episodes, that kind of an idea. So what I'm going to do is if I go back into my elements, I'm just going to pull in my second picture here. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with the first one, upload it, replace it using the element properties, resize it. Now what you'll see here is that this image, is actually one image, but it's of 5 separate buttons. So one of the great features that CliqLaunch offers, and this is really, really great for marketers and creative personnel who do a lot of wireframing in terms of the images and what they want their site to look like, they can bring those entire images over here and actually slice and dice them and make each one of the different sections of the image functional. So to do that, if we click this image, here on the right side, you'll see there's a link here that says the image map editor. So if I click image map editor, it's going to bring that image up in this image map editor, in which I can hit new area, and it's going to create this little highlight box that I can move, drag around the image, and stretch and fit over the parts of the image that I want to hotspot. So this actually is going to, I've highlighted the episode guide button here. So if I click that, you'll see now I can define the properties of that area. And within that, there's a lot of options. So you can send it to an external URL, which is what we'll do today. We'll just paste a URL here. You can also have it download documents that you've uploaded to your file manager, audio files, video files. You can send it to another internal page. So you'll see here page 2 is there since we created page 2. You can create it to where if you tap that section of the image, it's going to pop up an email where if you want to put in a predefined email address, which is great for like contact us kind of functionality, you can have it pop up an email on your phone saying that's already addressed to support@hbo.com or what have you. and you can have that. And then there's also the click to call functionality. So since this is all on phones, you can have it to where when somebody clicks that button, you can specify a phone number here so that when they click that, it'll bring up that phone, that number already dialed in your phone, ready to call. So another great contact us type of functionality. So what we're going to do for this one, though, is simply pull in an external URL. So I've got my URLs here somewhere. Here we go. So I'm just going to copy my hyperlink and paste it right in there. And I'm going to hit update area. And so you can do this as many times as will actually fit on the image. So if I want to do one more, I won't go through every one of them, so this will get a little repetitive, but I'll do one more. Just do the videos here. And so if I copy the hyperlink, paste it right there, hit update area. So now just important to remember to hit update area after each one so that you know, so that the system knows that you're moving on to the next area to define their properties. So once you've sort of filled this out how you want to do it, you just say OK. And now we're back in the canvas. And you can see that it's working because when we scroll over these areas on this image, you'll see that now there's this pointy click cursor guy here who said, it's saying that this is an active hyperlink. So this is actually going to work. And so just like that, in a matter of a few minutes, we've created a pretty solid quality landing page that can be used in, alongside a QR code from a poster or some sort of a push notification, what have you, but just some sort of a mobile element to go along with the campaign to make sure that that user experience on mobile is there. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to walk you through just very quickly the preview functionality, how you can see what it's going to look like on your phone before you launch it. So there's two ways to do that. One is you can hit preview here on the left, and it's going to open it up in emulators so you can see what that site's going to look like in a mobile environment. Right here, you can see that all of this is live. This is actually going to click into hbo.com. So that's all functional and working. The other way, which is even cooler, is you have an ability to test these pages on your phone as you're designing them. So if you hit this button here on the right, it says test page on phone, it's going to pop up a QR code. So as you're designing these pages, if you have your mobile phone ready, you can actually scan that QR code, and it's going to bring up in a private publish URL exactly the page that you're working on, and everything based on your last save is going to be there. So this is a great tool for as you're designing it and you want to see how it's actually going to interact on your phone. You can, every time you make a change, you can save the page and just refresh the browser on your phone and actually see, okay, so this is what this change looks like, and actually go along with it as you're building out your site. You can also choose to browse these URLs in a full-on browser too. So here you can see, exactly how it's working, just like that. And so that is just a really, really quick overview as to how it works. And now I'll kind of go into a little bit deeper dive on some of the widgets and different elements that we have available to you. But just to the very beginning crash course is creating a site, creating a page, uploading your documents and images, and then just dragging in elements and customizing them using the element properties bar. So it's very simple, and that's your basic sort of 1-2 punch to figure out once you get in here and play around with it, how to figure out how to navigate around and what it is that you're capable of doing. So beyond just the basic image and video capabilities, there's a lot of other widgets that we have available here in the tool. So everything from paragraph widgets. So if you click and pull in a paragraph, you'll see lots of customization options for each one of these. Say we change the text color to white since it's default black. But you can type text directly into the canvas. You can highlight it, bold it, italicize it, all of the basic text functionalities here. So you can plug in text directly into your pages. We also have a multi-column widget, which is more for pulling, different elements side by side one another. So if you have, an image to the left and you want text to the right that sort of describes what it is, something along those lines, you can do that functionality here as well. And you can actually, if you click on the element properties for the actual multi-column element, you can change that to as many columns as you want. So you can do as many side-by-side elements that you want to do. So that's a way to sort of add some depth and play around with the design a little bit. So we'll X that out. Picture, video we walked through. We have some basic sort of link type elements here that are just download documents, click to call functionality. I'll pull in click to call just to show you. All it does is it brings in some text here, and if you click it, you can specify a phone number. You can change the text, say call Tim, and I can put my phone number here. And so that way when somebody clicks that, it's going to pull up on their phone, ready to go, ready to dial, and you can go right away. So all of these work very similar to that, and you can play around with that a little bit. I won't go too far into it. The next section here we have are containers. So these are sort of what we call canvases within a canvas. Oh, got a question. 2 questions.
Is that a new feature with the phone? That is cool.
I'm sorry?
Is the phone the new feature?
No, actually that's one that's been there for quite a while. That's one of the first ones. We do have one new feature that I'd show you guys actually in this Elements is we do have the new hamburger element. So if you'll see in a lot of mobile websites now, there's that sort of these 3 bars that indicate some sort of navigation menu, right? So we can pull this in and it'll pull that functionality into your sites. So if you click that, you can actually customize how you want it to look. You can put in images. That one's way too big of an image, but the idea. Change the background color, say I want to make it red. You can put in header text, just like that. Change the fonts, what have you. But this is actually a great way to add navigation so that you can navigate to different pages in different locations as well. So if you go to the bottom of this where it says menu item style, you'll see a section here that says edit menu items. This is going to pull up, if you click that, you'll see a way that you can build in different menus and sub-menu options. So say we got item 1, 2, and 3, that's fine. And then you can put in sub-menu options under each one of them too. So just like that. And what this does is it'll create this sort of hierarchical structure of navigational buttons that you can include into your sites, which is a great navigation tool that's really common, and I'm sure you see it all the time in mobile websites that you visit by yourself. So with each one of these buttons, you can actually specify some sort of an action, which are all the same actions that you can do. So send it to internal pages, external URL, open an email, and then even one more is you can open up another email where you specify body content already that's going to be in the email as well. So it's more for a share via email function. So let's just say we have page 2 right here on item 1. So we've got that. Say we save it. And if I open up the preview, you'll see how that works and what it is that I'm building. So here you see the hamburger menu here. I can click that, and it's going to pull everything over and sort of pull up your navigation here. And so you can add that navigation element to all of your sites and pages as you go through it. Now, and if I click item 1 here, it's just going to take me to page 2. We don't have anything on page 2 at the moment, so it's blank, but you can see that that's functional. So that's actually one new element that we've recently included in terms of navigation. But we'll save that. Where was it? Yeah, go ahead.
That's really cool to have that. I know last time students were asking about the navigation, so that's a pretty big addition to that.
Yeah, no, that was a specific customer request actually that we had to spend a lot of time figuring out how to incorporate it in this type of an environment. But I think it turned out pretty well. I think there's a couple little stylistic issues that we still got to work through on it, but it's fully functional and it works really well now. So you'll start to see that in some of the pages that get built using CliqLaunch as well. So I guess moving forward, we also have these containers, which are sort of just preset templates that you can use to sort of customize your pages a little bit. So here you can see it's sort of an image gallery. You can pull this in, and it makes it easier to just kind of fill in the blanks, that kind of a thing. And you can also do, like, just say if I got rid of this one, there's just simple containers. So here you can say if I want to provide, you know, a little bit more of a design layered element to my pages, I can change the background color to, you know, orange, and then I can drop in elements inside of that container. So it sort of adds that extra little element that you can sort of pull in. That's why we call it a canvas within a canvas, because you're basically pulling in a secondary canvas that you can then place elements into. And so we have that functionality in here as well. Moving on to the widgets, and this is where some of the cooler functionality like the swipe functionality and the drop-down accordion menus and whatnot come into play. But here we have, we'll start with the swipe. So the swipe menu is actually, let's say we want to start customizing the second page. So one thing I want to do is I actually want to copy the header. So one function that we do have, so you don't have to recreate elements on each individual page, is the copy paste function. So say I want to copy my header. I say okay. I want to save the page before I proceed. I go into page 2. I can then paste it, and that's going to paste that element with whatever customization that we've done directly onto those other pages. So that'll save you a lot of time as you're building out these pages. But what I'll do, I'll use this page as sort of just a proving ground for some of the other widgets that we have. So beginning with the swipe widget. So what we have here, and I'll show you it's this functionality that you can see here, Dollar General's Labor Day page, where they do this sort of slideshow, sliding back and forth widget. You can actually customize that by clicking on it here and adding and removing slides here in the element properties window. Now each one of these slides acts as its own container, so you can pull in different elements into each one of these slides. So if I go back into my basic elements, I can say I pull in a picture here, click here, move on to the second one, I pull in a picture here, and so on and so forth. And you can pull in any elements that you want. So say if you want to pull in a YouTube video into one of them, you can do that as well. And you can slide back and forth these different elements. And it's one of the options that we have for just including a lot of content in a page without necessarily taking up tons of scroll room. So it's more of like a different, sort of more parallel option from a design perspective. So we have that in here. One of the other functions that we have is our accordion drop-down menu. So if I pull that in, I pulled it inside of my swipe widget. Let's try one more time. Here on the bottom. So these are just drop-down buttons. So let's say I save it. It comes in like this, which is basically they're fully expanded. All of the buttons and the drop-down areas are fully expanded. So you can pull in different elements like text into each one of these and start to fill in content under each one. So it's another way that you can put a lot of content into a page without taking up a lot of room. But if I save it and I show you how it looks in the preview, you'll see that it's collapsed, and so it has this plus sign. So if you click it, it'll drop down to open up to more content that you can plug in here. So this is a great functionality that we use and we see all the time. Beyond that, we have a couple of other things, one being our RSS feed as well as our Twitter feeds, which acts as sort of dynamic content. So say, for example, let's get rid of some of these things just to save room. We'll pull in an RSS feed. So this pulls in an RSS feed container. If you click to select it, there's a section here that's for an RSS URL. So I have here in a tab the HBO shop blog. This is just different items that you can buy based off of what's available in the HBO store. And they continuously update this with new items. So every day there'll be a different item that's come to the top of the feed. So what we want to do is I'm going to navigate down here and I'm going to find the RSS button. And I'm going to take that RSS URL. And I'm going to plug that in right here. And I'm just going to click off of it. And it's going to pull in all this stuff, and it comes in default for some reason, white text on a white background. But if I change that text to black, you'll see here we have all of the text that's come in. So you can see, oh, here's the Brink new arrivals, Game of Thrones, what have you. And so this is just a way to include some sort of dynamic content. If you have some sort of external feed, you can bring it in via an RSS feed into the site. And so you don't have to come back in here and relaunch and republish the page to make sure that the new items come in. It'll dynamically do it on its own. So it's a good function to have, especially if you have some sort of a news element to your site or anything where content's continuously being updated. You can use that. Outside of just using the RSS feed, we also have a Twitter feed, which works the same way, except it's specific to a Twitter screen name. So you can keep up to date on somebody's specific Twitter screen name, all their tweets in a mobile site. But we also have, I'm going to skip over the store locator and the weather widget since they're sort of antiquated, but I'm going to jump over into the HTML editor widget. And so this is really, outside of some of the social media and just the basic buttons, this HTML editor widget is really what sort of opens up everything in terms of what you can do in CliqLaunch, and including external widgets and other sort of HTML embed codes, what have you. So if I bring in this HTML editor, it just brings in sort of a blank window here. But if I select it, there's a section here for HTML content. And so if you go to, say Vimeo, you don't want to use a YouTube video, you want to use a Vimeo video instead. Typically there's some sort of HTML embed link that you can take from a Vimeo video. You can copy that embed link and paste it directly into here. And what that does is it just automatically pastes that HTML content right into your page. Let's see if I can show an example. So if we go to Vimeo. This one looks fine. So if we go down somewhere, there should be an embed. I wasn't prepared to do this one, so I may not know exactly where to look for the embed video. So I'll just skip over that right now, but just to save time. But basically, you have those embed HTML scripts that you can paste directly in. So this works really well. Twitter has their own widgets that they have where you can sort of create Twitter feed widgets. You can bring those in, and it'll be sort of more branded to Twitter. It'll look everything like a Twitter feed. It'll look really, really great. And then there's all kinds of other widgets that you'll find, from polls to just anywhere that people give you an option to embed something into your website. So you can plug that HTML content here. So that really opens up the sort of the field of what you can do in terms of widgets and things that you can bring into your site using CliqLaunch. So that's a good tool for anybody who gets really into it and plays around with it and knows a little something about sort of HTML as well. Moving on to some of the other tabs here, we also have some functionality that's specific to social media. Basically here you just have your basic icons, so you can add social touch points to your pages. If you click here, you can plug in specific Facebook profile URLs. You can also do this with an image. This is just sort of a shortcut if you just want to use the default icons that we have in here already. Email page does the same thing. If you click that, basically, once somebody taps it, it'll bring up the URL of the page that you're on in an email so that you can share something via email. So most of the stuff on the social media tab is just basic, quick social touch points, things that you can pull in to connect your sites with your social pages. We do have a couple here that these actually need to be taken down because Facebook's changed a little something. We used to have the like buttons and the recommend buttons right in here. Don't try and use those because they won't work, I'll tell you right now. That's something, so I'll skip over that. Beyond the social media section, we have various preset headers and footers that you can use. One is, just basic headers that you can drop into your site that are just act as sort of nice headers. You can change the textures and how you want them to look, and we have preset textures. You can put in your own background colors, stuff like that. Preset functionality, so that home button will take you back to the home page if you just want to use the preset headers and footers. Same thing with footer. If we drag it in, it's actually going to go straight to the bottom of the page here, and then you can customize each one of these as you would a button. So if you click on this one, say I want to change the icon to something different, I can say, oh, this is a caution sign. You can change the size of the icon. You can choose the background color that you want it to be. You can a lot of different functional elements in terms of customization, and I won't go through each one of these because it's really best to get in and sort of play around with it and test the waters and figure out what you can and can't do. But it's pretty simple to get the hang of once you get in here and understand the basic concepts. So we've got the basic footers that you can do here. One of the last things I'll show you is we also have a really, really large button library. So this is just for other navigations, preset HTML buttons that you can use to link to other websites, other internal pages, what have you. So everything from just standard buttons to image buttons to group buttons with icons, side-by-side split buttons, what have you. Any of these you can pull in, and if you click on them, you have all of the same customization functionality here. So you can choose where you want that button to redirect to. You can choose to apply that redirect to all the buttons that are in that group. You can change the text to whatever you want. Choose to align the text, put in borders. So say I want, a 4-pixel border around the whole thing and I want it to be pink, you can add those in. All of that functionality. So in all of our elements, you'll see that there's a lot of basic customization capabilities here when you click on them. But then there's also an advanced menu. So here you'll see, some different functions. Yeah, what's up? Sorry, I wasn't looking.
Oh, we couldn't hear you, but now we can.
Oh, are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
We're here, we can hear you. We can hear you now. For some reason you went out.
Oh, it's okay. It was probably the very, very boring discussion on buttons.
No, none of it's boring. None of it is. You do such an awesome job presenting this. We appreciate this. Isn't this great? It's so robust. It's so functionally rich. Anyway, I want to continue. Sorry to interrupt. The audio is working now.
Okay, good. No, there's only a couple more things I'll go through, and then I'll just let anybody ask questions that they want. So one of the other things that we do have is a way for you to collect user information on your site. So you can actually create forms that people can fill out on your pages. And this is a great, specifically for landing page environments, say, saying, I click here to sign up for something, or send me your email, let us stay in touch kind of a thing. You can create these forms. So if you hit the Forms tab, right now you'll see that since I've not used my Pepperdine login, I don't have any forms created. But I'll show you if I click Create New Form, it just brings up a toolbox here that we can use to create forms. So we'll name the form. So we'll just say Test Form 1. We'll put in our header name, say, email sign up, and we'll say Next. And so we'll see our form start to take shape here. We can edit our name here if we see fit. But once we're in here, we can add various controls. So if we hit Add Control, these are just the different form fields that you can plug in. So the first being a text box. So let's say first name. Let's make it required and hit Save. And so now first name populates here in the form. We had another one. Let's say we do one more text box just so you can see the input types and say we want this to be your email. So we want to make sure that nobody's putting in anything in this form field that's not in an email format. So if we choose in the input type, email, we'll make sure that it'll kick back anything that's not in an email format in that form field. So now I have email. And then we can add various other controls too. So everything from drop-down list, say, we want to do gender, and we'll add different values. We now have the drop-down list function here. You can plug in text areas for comments. You can put in radio buttons, which is more for ratings. So let's just say rate us and say 1, 2, 3. And then lastly, we can just do a simple checkbox. So say send me information. And so you have those basic form fields. You can fill out those forms as you see fit. So this is a great way for when somebody comes to your site and you want to collect some sort of information about them, or you want to find out if they're interested in some service that you offer. You can give this a sort of a touch point, a call to action, specifically on something they can do to give you a next step. So once you've created the form the way you want it, you just hit activate. One important thing to remember is once you activate the form, you can't go back and edit it anymore. You have to create a new form if you messed up something. And that's simply to prevent any corrupted data that may be coming in or anything like that. So we'll hit X. But once we create our form, you'll see our form pop up as a widget here in the Forms menu. So I can just then drag it into my page, and you can see that form populate right in one of our containers that we have that are equally as customizable as everything else. So if I click here, I've got my base. I go back to the Basic tab. There's 2 different styles of forms that you can have. I like style 2 better, but it's up to you. You can have it to where if you specify an email address, so every time somebody fills out the form, say if I put in tim@siteminis.com here, every time somebody fills out that form and submits it, I'll get an email with all their details. So now I know somebody was active on my page and they filled out the form, and so I know I can do something right away about it. We also have the way that you can change the submit button text, anything you want. change the width button, all of this functionality, same background color, functional stuff, all of this in here that you can sort of customize these forms out with as well. So we'll save that. But that pretty much is just sort of the walkthrough of a lot of the basic elements that we have. It's all really, really simple stuff. Once you get in here and you drag in the elements, you can play around with it, figure out what works best for you, customize, figure out what looks good, what doesn't. Utilize this test page on phone functionality because that really makes a difference when you're actually seeing what you're designing on your actual phone. Because you may think it'll look good, but then you'll look at it and it won't look good at all. That's happened to me a lot of times. So that's a great function. We also have an ability here for you to generate short URLs. So as you know that these URLs can get kind of long as you generate and put in long site names and page names. So for all of them, you can generate shortened URLs, which is sort of like a bit.ly type of exercise, but here it's clicks us. And that's great for, sending it out a text message, some sort of push notification or a tweet, something where there's a character limit. You have that functionality and capabilities as well. You can also generate a QR code to go along with any of the sites that you build. We have a really robust QR code creator. This is for just scanning and accessing pages via your camera. So you can, I won't go through every section here, but you can choose 300 DPI. That's increasing the image resolution. So if you set it at 300 DPI, it's going to be ready to print on really high quality marketing materials. So if you're like building out some physical paper handouts or something like that and you want to print out a QR code, generate that QR code at 300 DPI. Then you can do things like change the version from anything from a version 3, which is really scannable and easy, to a really, really terrible QR code, which is a version 14, which is very difficult to scan. And I'm not sure why it's even in here, but we do have the capability. The version 3 or the version 5, something lower, is typically your best bet. You can change the different colors. So if you want to make it red instead of black, just say regenerate QR code, you can do that. And then the one other thing that you can do is, unfortunately, I don't have any images that'll fit the size parameters, but based on your size QR code that you're creating and the resolution, you can actually choose images that'll sort of brand the QR code and put a little branding logo here in the center. So you can kind of play around with that, and if you really want to get into it, feel free to send me an email and I'll help you out because that can be a little tough. But that's all here. So that's the full walkthrough of the canvas. That's us building a site. That's pretty much the basics, enough for you guys to get started. The one thing that I'll show you next is just once you're ready and you really like your page and you're ready to send it live, I'll show you the publish process. So say I'm ready, I like my site. I'm just going to go up here to the top right. There's a green button here that says upload and launch. So if I click that, I'm going to get my publish menu here. And you can choose to send the site live immediately, which means it's going to go live anywhere from 1 to 60 seconds. Since CliqLaunch runs on a constant cycle, where it's publishing every site that's waiting to be published once every minute. Or you can choose to schedule it to go live at a later time and date. So if you want something to go live specifically at like Saturday on Saturday at like midnight, that was something that Dollar General wanted to do specifically for some coupon updates and things like that. You can choose to schedule a time for that site to go up. And so you can also sort of customize. We'll just go ahead and say immediate. And we'll say, you can put in, you have another option to sort of change out the title, the PC site URL, the keywords, the description, what have you, before you publish it. And the only other thing here that we have is this is your regular redirect. So I told you about the reverse redirect right in the beginning, where you're sort of redirecting to a PC site. So this is the regular one. So what you'll get, and you'll have this email to you when you get your publish email saying your site's live. Basically, it's an HTML script that you can put into the header, the headings of your HTML body, the header content of the HTML of your PC page, in which basically if somebody goes to that PC page and you want them to go to the mobile site if they're on a phone, if that script is on that PC page, then if they're accessing that page on their phones, it'll redirect them to the mobile site that you build here. So you can handle that from the other way as well. So you have that option too. And if you have questions or want help in that, I can help you out as well. But we're going to go ahead and just say publish. And once you hit publish, you'll see a link to access your site has been sent via email. Please check the email you registered with to access the published site. So based on whatever email you set up your user account with, that's what that's the email the URL will come to. So you'll get that published site URL there. So that being said, that's pretty much everything. I'll pull up the QR code just in case. Give it, a few seconds and say, if you want, you can kind of scan it to see the site live on your own phones. Let's just do it this way. Windows 10 shows everything on a black background, so it makes it really hard to scan. But if you want to scan that, if you have the capabilities with your phone, you can probably go ahead and scan it. I'm sure it'll probably be live by now. But that's everything that I wanted to cover. Definitely ask any questions that you have right now, and if not, we'll have some other avenues for you to sort of get support as you're working on it. We have a Facebook group. Specifically, it's called CliqLaunch Studio. It's specifically for university students who are using the tool to come on and ask questions, and then somebody from SiteMinis, probably me, somebody else maybe, will answer your questions and help you out. Yeah, that's it. I'll send some training videos and some other user manual links and everything to Dr. Rosenkrantz, who can share them with all of you. But it's pretty simple, so I'm excited to see what you guys will be able to build. I know the last class did some really quality sites using it, so it's exciting to see. So any questions or concerns, thoughts?
Oops, questions? Yay, round of applause. Yay. Any questions? Sorry, I'm trying to think of see everybody. Any questions? Not yet. Some of their clients that they have might have, I remember that maybe you can answer this for me. I know you did for the last class that they might already have like a home page, right? A web for a desktop.
Yep.
But they don't have mobile. It's not responsive. So CliqLaunch will override. It'll redirect when someone accesses that website on the mobile phone.
So what you have to do is if you create a mobile version of that website that's already there, but it's not responsive or anything like that, when you publish the site, that redirect script that I talked about right there at the end, that'll come to you in an attachment of your email. So you can copy and paste that redirect script into the header section of the HTML of the existing PC page. So if you can access the back end of that existing page and tell their IT department or what have you, just plug this into the headers of the HTML, that'll act as a redirect. So that way, once that's in there and they publish that, anybody who goes to that site, say it's pepperdine.com or what have you, if they're on a phone, it'll redirect to whatever site that you built based off of that redirect script. Make sense?
It does.
Okay.
There's a question way down there, you see? There you go.
So they update their internal website. They ask you
Couldn't quite hear.
Oh, sorry.
You want to come over closer to ask?
Sure. Yeah, I guess.
Because the microphone's so far. Okay, here we go.
If they update something that's like on their current website, like their desktop, is it like my face? If they update something that's on their current website, will it automatically update on the mobile website?
No. So since you're designing it separately, you'll have to go in and make that change yourself, unless it's like the HTML embed or something along those lines, or like the RSS feed. Then it'll update automatically. But for the most part, since you're designing this as sort of a separate entity, if they change something on their main page, you're going to have to make that change in CliqLaunch. But it's really easy to do so. You just go into the My Sites menu from your home dashboard, select the site, and you could at any point in time, even if a site is live, come back in, make changes, and just republish it. And those changes will immediately take effect in about 60 seconds. So it's pretty quick and easy to make these changes and make sure that your content stays relevant without you necessarily having to rebuild a whole site.
I think it's Jessica, right? Her client doesn't even have a website yet, right?
Okay.
She does have a website. But is there somebody in here who doesn't have a website? Someone's telling me they don't even have a website. Who is it in here? So you're sorry, they're over here. See, their client does not even have a website. So Can you explain what would happen if they just designed the mobile site through CliqLaunch? How that can
It would look like this, basically. So it's mobile. It's specifically designed for mobile handset, right? So if you were to go on your laptop and click into the mobile site that you designed using CliqLaunch, you'll get one that is sort of just right down the center of the page, just like it's meant for a mobile. And that's really how it'll view. But
That's cool.
yeah, that's what would happen.
That's cool.
Mhm.
Well, you know the forms, I wanted to ask you that. Do you hold the database there so they don't have to purchase like a database where they can access form information that people submit, like users submit? Does
Yeah,
that go to CliqLaunch?
we sure do. So when you open up these sites, if say you go to the page that you're on, this won't have anything, but there's a section here.
That's cool.
It says page forms data. And so you can click that, and it'll say no data to display, or it'll just be empty. But this is where that, as people fill out your form, it'll populate here. So you can start to see that. You can also access that via, if you go into the Forms tab up here, and you select My Forms, you can see here, user submitted data. So no data to display at the moment, but you have that option of looking in CliqLaunch to seeing, who's filled out your form there. And then you can, as the data comes in, you can export it to an Excel format as well.
That's so cool. This is so amazing. Can you do a favicon? Is that how you pronounce it? F-A-V-I, favicon. You put your little icon in the URL. Can you do that on CliqLaunch?
No.
The favicon. Am I saying it right? F-A-V-I. Those little icons that you put inside the URL. Yeah, like a little P for Pepperdine before it says pepperdine.edu.
Oh yeah, well, kind of.
Favicons.
You see this Facebook page? Are you talking about this icon here?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually. So
Oh, wow.
when you go in here, say,
I like that. Wow.
I think we got to go to edit the site. So if we go to upload and launch, and it'll pull up our site editor here.
That's cool.
1 second, let it load up. There's a section called bookmark icon. So there's size restrictions. You have to keep it under 150 by 150 pixels. But you can choose and upload images based on those size restrictions here, and that's what that becomes. So if you have some sort of an icon or something that you want to put in, you can do that there.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an e-commerce capability or not yet with that?
No e-commerce capability. That we tried to figure out a good way to sort of incorporate that, but it's so difficult in a sort of blanket solution because everybody's e-commerce needs are a little bit different, and there's a lot of back-end ties when it comes to their product databases and their EDI functionality and everything that they go through. It became kind of a more we've had to start addressing it on sort of a one-off customization basis. So
they could just use a link to go purchase or go somewhere to
if
put a link on there.
There's already something online, that's the best way. So think of these pages more so as sort of landing pages or gateways or portals to things. So if you want to promote a specific product and you say click to buy now, you can just link that to the buy now page that's on Amazon or something like that.
Perfect.
It'll just
It's
on buy page. Yep.
That's what I think what Jessica in my other class did, another one who got a job offer from this project. There's been so much success that you've helped make this possible in this class. You helped make this project possible, and I appreciate it so much.
That's
so much, Tim. You're just great at demoing. Isn't it awesome? Doesn't this look fun? It's such a powerful, robust, and functionally rich platform. So, and they're offering it. CliqLaunch, and Tim has given it to us complimentary. It's pretty awesome at no charge through the semester. So let's thank them for that. Awesome.
Good.
Really exciting. Yeah. And it's so late there. It's already like almost 8:30.
Oh, I'm almost always in the office this late anyway.
Any other questions for Tim? Was he awesome or what? Wasn't he great? You definitely are so good at demoing this, and I appreciate it, and your time and your patience as we got connected. It took a little bit of time to get connected. So anything else? I wish you could take a group picture, but you're not here. I know.
I'll come out
I have a good idea. Wait, I have a really good idea. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of the screen. Stay there. Don't go. I'll take a picture with you in part of my class like that. I know. Can everybody get together and I'll take a picture of the screen? I have a great idea. Okay. A screenshot? Make it bigger? Okay. Which one? How do I enlarge both of them? This one larger, but then I'll larger? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, not that one, but this one.
Yeah.
Can I make that one bigger?
No.
I can't make it bigger. Yeah, like that. How do we get rid of this one?
Yes, exit.
Oh, you have to exit that one. Okay, so I know. So we'll go like this. Can everyone gather close so I can get a screenshot of this? I can give you a thank you card. It'd be a nice little thank you. I love it. It's great. Everyone get closer so that we can see the camera. Closer. You got to squeeze tight. Digital strategy. Everyone closer, closer together. Can't see Gavin. And like this. Jessica, you got to scoot in more. Isn't this fun, Tim?
Oh, man. So fun.
Closer. Oh, how do you do a PC? It's not Control-Delete. How do you do PC? Screenshot. How do you do a PC screenshot, Tim?
Print
I only
screen.
know a Mac screenshot.
I don't know, Max. I don't know. Somebody knows. There's like 3 Macs in the front row.
Does anybody know how to do a screenshot of PC?
No, but this is a PC.
This is a PC, so how do I screenshot?
Control print screen.
Control. Where's the print screen? Where is it? Wait, here. Is that it? Did I do it?
Open up a Word document and try and paste it. See if it came up.
Don't leave, you guys. Where's Microsoft Word? Where's Microsoft Word? I have to paste it somewhere. Let me find Microsoft Word. Okay. How do you do anyone on? I'm so lost at the PCs. Files. Oh yeah. Print? That's print though, not screenshot. Sorry, Tim, we're going to try to figure out a way to get this to. Where's the document?
Control B. B.
Here we go. And a paste. So it's not a paste? Oh, there it is. That's it. Wait, we gotta get another picture. Wait, Tim. Get back to you guys. We'll take another picture because Tim.
What happened? Was I not looking?
Another picture. Where'd he go? Here he is. Okay, ready? Ready. What is it again? Control P. Ready, Tim? 1, 2, 3. Yay. No, don't go away. I'm taking with my camera just in case. Okay, just in case, I get you guys. Ready? And I'm going to get the screen just in case. So good, we got a good print screen. This is so fun. All right. Ready? 1, 2, ready, 3. Jessica's going to get it. One more time. 2, 3. Oops. Ah! Can you do it again?
What's happening?
Yay, we're doing multiple just as backup. Awesome. Okay, let's thank Tim one more time. Yay, Tim. We'll give you a thank you card.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it. It's always fun.
Thanks for making this possible. This is awesome. This project wouldn't be possible without Tim and Site Minis and CliqLaunch. So let's give them one big round of applause. Thank you, Tim. So you'll send me an email with how they can access CliqLaunch then with the passwords?
I will do that. Yes, I will send you everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Is that it? Is that everything?
I think
Anything
that's
else
it.
from us on our end? You know anything else from us, Tim, on our end?
No, I think you're good. I'll send instructions on getting registered, some of the training materials that I have, access to that Facebook page for everyone to get in. So if they have questions, feel free. And then you'll have my email address, so you can go through that as well. And I think, yeah, we should be good. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Oh, you
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yay.
Bye, guys.
Have a great evening, and I'll be in touch.
All right, sounds good. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Tim. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, Tim.
Bye, Tim.